welcome everyone. We thank you for coming. We're going to ask that you stand. We'll be led in prayer. Father, it's once again, Lord, we come before you to conduct the meeting of the county. We thank you, Lord, for your grace and mercy in blessing us to come out today. We ask, Lord, that you bless the proceedings as we go forth, that you'll give us wisdom and knowledge that we need to make the best decisions. We thank you for all that are here. We ask your blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will call our Board of County Commissioners meeting together for April 3rd. The first item on our agenda is to approve the minutes. Board, you have a number of minutes before you, and if you've taken a look at them, we'll ask that you provide approval of them. Are there any corrections or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I have none, and move that they be approved.
All right, there's a motion to approve the March 2nd, March 5th, March 6th, March 11th, and 18th Board of County Commissioner meeting minutes.
I second the motion.
All right, there's been a motion and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda would be the acceptance of the agenda. Are there any corrections? There is no corrections that we have. And if there's none by the board, we'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, the next item would be our delegations, our citizens' comments. Do we have any signed up? All right, the first on the list would be Mr. Thomas Hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, County Manager, County Commissioners, I'll make this very brief. First off, I want to thank the fellow Republicans that voted me in as their chairman with a unanimous vote. And my first official duty would be to hand this in person, dealing with the Animal Ordinance Committee. I want to make sure that us Republicans are there to be represented. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, the next on our list would be Amanda Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am here before you again on behalf of the dogs here in Gates County. I was here at the last meeting and I was very disappointed in your lack of empathy towards the dogs and what we had to say. There was no emotion shown or anything. Last meeting it was talked about going into phase 2 of the courthouse building, and I am a history lover. I love historic buildings. I love old buildings. I love to visit them. And it was brought up that it could be a tourist site. When people drive through, they'll remember this building. It'll be something that Gates County will be known for. As a resident, as someone that drives through here, my concern would be when people drive through, they're not going to remember the building. They're going to see the dog abuse that goes on. Just last week, there was a dog that was on a body scale of 1 in 9. He's a 1. He was found on Johnny Harrell Road. From what I was told, Animal Control was called 3 times on him. He was never picked up. Picked up by a Good Samaritan, and he's being taken care of now. He's been starved, emaciated, abused, neglected, teeth filed down, extreme scars, and nothing is being done. On the road just behind me on Thicket Road, 2 dead dogs were dumped on the side of the road. Nothing is being done. This is what people will remember when going through our county. I think it would be great to have a historic site. I'm all for that, but I think that you first need to start with cleaning up the dog abuse. This is just a small amount of what people would see driving through here. You guys have the opportunity. You are in the position where you can make a change. You can make a change to our county, to the lives. This isn't a building out there on the streets. These are live animals that have feelings, that have emotions, that feel pain, feel suffering. I think this is something that should come first before all else. And you guys are in that position to do so and make a change, and I would hope that you would, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. And we are proceeding with efforts to try to address this situation. The next item, citizen, would be Carolyn Witt.
Good morning.
Morning.
I hope y'all had a nice Easter. I don't have anything written today, but my utmost concern is, of course, everything that Amanda just stated. I'll have to ditto on everything there, and the lack of empathy, that really concerns me. This dog was called on 3 times. He's not the first in this county. Unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, because I'm glad that they do call me. I get the calls from the residents instead of animal control. They call me. I'm their first line of defense. They call me asking me if I can help this dog. I'm not animal control. I'm not the county shelter. Their care comes out of my pocket. I work a full-time job, but their care comes out of my pocket. It also comes out of Amanda's pocket, because this is very important to us. I spoke briefly with Sheriff Webb. He needs help. He needs a full-time animal control officer, that this is all he does. And he's got plenty to do in this county, because I can take you on a ride right now and show you all the stuff that's not being enforced, all the suffering that's going on in this county. So, y'all have the means of doing this. You need to sit down and talk to him. You need to get him the help that he needs. This officer needs to be just an animal control officer, not toting around prisoners in the county, not writing tickets unless it's concerns the animals, not sitting in court on Monday unless it has to do with abuse charges. Just needs to be animal control. We also need animal cruelty investigators. These investigators, it's not going to cost you a dime. These are volunteers. They go to training in Greenville. It's about 6 hours, and then they have to do it every so often to make sure that they're up to date with everything. Will not cost this county a dime. It's their time. They invest the time in studying, learning what they need to do, and then you as commissioners appoint them. We need at least 2 in this county. But my main concern, before we do anything else, we've got the library, we've got the courthouse. Invest in some lives. Stop the generational abuse that's going on in this county. Educate our people. Put somebody in charge that can help us and change the nasty little image that we have out there in this community and other communities. I hear it all the time because I'm a rescuer, and I'm so sick of them saying, oh, you are from North Carolina, you are from Gates County where they abuse and neglect dogs. Sad thing is, folks, it's true. It is true. So I've put this before you. I know you've got us on the agenda, or the committee on the agenda, as number 6. I'm hoping that this gets rolling quickly. because we've wasted a lot of time here. I know the article runs till the 23rd. Don't know how many has submitted an application to serve on this committee. I'm hoping that it is knowledgeable folks and compassionate folks, and not folks that lack empathy and just want to be on the committee to get it over with, because I'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Witt. The next citizen would be Chuck Brothers.
Good morning, Commissioners, County
Morning.
Manager, residents of the county. I'm Chuck Brothers of 485 Drum Hill Road. And I put on my topic as a general topic of commerce. So if the chair would allow me just a few extra minutes of latitude and time, I've got a timeline that I want to bring before you in regards to the last commissioners meeting, where at the beginning of the meeting I had some citizens comment period where I had brought up about the concern I had for the clawbacks and where we were in regards to commerce at the Commerce Center and what was coming and what apparently is not coming at this point in time. And at the end of the meeting, when commissioner comment period, Commissioner Owens was the one that gave comment in regards to an abbreviated synopsis of some things that gave some clarification, and I appreciate Jack sharing that information. But along with that, I'm an educated person, and I like to become more self-educated. And with that comment that Commissioner Owens made about the Senior Assisted Living Center coming, it clicked, my radar engaged. And I've started the process of trying to find some facts. And as y'all well know, the internet hides nothing in today's world. And if there's a document that can be produced, if you sit at the screen long enough and key in the right phrases, you can come up with about what you're looking for. I've done that by ascertaining documents that were on the home page under the search engine for the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. And I've also, through the Freedom of Information Act, which was just a verbal request. I did not have to formally submit a written request. It was all a verbal FOIA request. But I'd like to develop a timeline for y'all so I can get to where I'm going. And this all reverses back to Commissioner Owens' comments at the last meeting. On May 2nd of 2012, there were two documents that were generated by the North Carolina Department of Health and Social Services. And I believe that lady's name that generated those documents was Paula Quirin, which was the project analysis. And this is in regards to Gates Health Investors, Gates House LLC, and Meridian Senior Assisted Living. On May 2nd, which I find these dates to be completely blown away, as these documents came out on May 2nd and the primary was on May the 8th for the Democratic primary. Document 1, it says attachment required state agency findings, and this document is 27 pages long. I'm not going to go through every page, but I did find one particular paragraph that I found to be interesting. Support services that will be made available, including the activities, recreation, beauty, barber services, dentistry services, dietary, emergency medical services, family support groups, housekeeping, laundry services, and the list goes on. And it goes to Exhibit X, which includes a letter of interest from Patricia Jenkins, a registered nurse, consulting services, as well as from Cisco Food Services. Exhibit J includes a letter of interest to enter into a transfer agreement between the proposed management of Meridian Senior Living Management and Roanoke Chowan Hospital, and Albemarle. It said the applicants also provide letters of support and referral from the following sources. And this is kind of what blew me away when I read this. The Director of Paquimans County Social Services, the Director of the Area Agency on Aging for the Albemarle Commission, Gates County Commissioners, a NC State Senator, a NC State Representative, the Paquimans County Board of Commissioners, and the pastor of New Middle Swamp Missionary Baptist Church. What I find interesting with this particular paragraph is, if this was such an important venue, where is the letter of support from our own Gates County Department of Social Services? So I find that fact to be somewhat interesting. The second document on the same day is titled To Chuck White Development, P.O. Box 2568, Hickory, North Carolina. And on this particular document, the state gives a detailed outline as to what, when, and where this process was to start. On December 2nd, 2012, a permanent loan was to be executed. December 2nd, 2012, a site was to be purchased. Final drawings submitted to construction section of DHSR on January the 15th of 2013. Construction contract awarded on February the 6th. The next item to be tapped into, which we've yet to get there, would be May 7th, which would be building permit obtained. And then it ends up with the date that Commissioner Owens referenced, which would be October of 2014, where Medicare and Medicaid certification should be granted. On December the 11th, the county received a document from North Carolina Department of Environment and Natural Resources that the division received a partial engineering certification for the subject project, which is referencing the Gates County Sewer Collection System project, on December 10th of 2012, enclosed as a copy of the certification page for your records. There again, everything I've got here is public knowledge and for request. What's interesting about that date is that in November, the State Employees Credit Union was given a conditional CO, Certificate of Occupancy. I've had a very long conversation, and she's been very helpful. And for those that don't understand the process of what a certificate of need is, I challenge you to call this lady in Raleigh. She has been very helpful and very much an education process for me. Her name is Bernetta Thorne Williams. And this is the part that intrigued me again, the second intriguing fact. On February the 21st of 2013, the gentleman I referenced prior, Mr. Chuck White, which evidently is an agent for Meridian Senior Assisted Living, they have got to give progress reports to the Certificate of Need section as to what they're doing. And this was dated, the date of the progress report was February the 15th of 2013. The Certificate of Need section responded back to him on February 21st. And I quote, "The current status of the project is," and this is in quotation marks, "Gates County is in the process of extending the sewer system to the site. Wastewater treatment plant upgrades is ongoing. Preliminary drawings for Gates House are in progress." End quote of his quotation. "The project will be developed to materially comply with the representations made in the Certificate of Need application." And in item B, where it has a timetable, obtain funds necessary to undertake the project, December 2nd, not filled in. Contract awarded, February the 6th, not filled in. 25% completion construction, which we're not there, but according to this document, they've got to be 25% completed by September the 31st of this year. So, in all of my investigating, and there again, I'm not trying to throw a kink in anything. I was more or less trying to get it educated on this. But if it's such an important tool to what we want to do in the Commerce Center, where's the player at in regards to doing what his documentation says that they need to do? If they're going to make this fly, why haven't they bought the land? And according to the Register of Deeds, there has been no land transfers of property in the last 30 days. So my question comes back to y'all. Why have they put the pressure or put the liability back on the county in the statement that the sewer system looks like that they're waiting on Gates County when the State Employees Credit Union came online in January and the library came online here within the last 30 days? I'm all for this. I want to see it happen. I think there's other components to this that will come. You know, if it's going to have 58 employees, certainly they're going to look for somewhere that they want to eat. They're not going to have, Sextons is not going to be able to feed them all. So if they're going to do what they say they're going to do, I think the county has the responsibility to the taxpayers to turn the heat up on them a little bit to say, hey, what's going on? This is what I have found. It's all public information. I wanted to share this with the commissioners and the audience that was here to listen. I'm not trying to derail anything, not trying to throw a kink. I'm just trying to get more understanding for myself. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss it. If anybody would like to see these documents, I can make copies, or I can tell you where to go to the internet and find them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. We'll say that we have been in contact with Chuck White. We was in contact with him in January. Many of the things that you went over, we talked about them. And also, we are pursuing trying to get the county in a position that we will be able to support them. All right. The next citizen on the list would be Mr. Wesley Boone.
Good morning, John, County Manager, Commissioners, and citizens. I'm here to represent Gates County Health Partners. It's sort of putting the cart before the horse, because normally when we come to these meetings, the funds have already been allocated to the different organizations within the county. And I don't think you had your budget meeting yet, but it's a dire need this year, and I know funds are slack, but we wanted to go on and put our plea in, Gates County Health for Partners, because of the great need, health-wise, in the community. We've talked about AEDs being put in the county. We addressed that last year. We talked about other issues last year. But we have found out, we had a diabetes budget workshop done, and diabetes is a big problem in Gates County. It's much larger in Gates County than any other counties in the state of North Carolina. Something needs to be done. We know that monies are going to be tentatively short, but we're pleading that we can get every dollar that we can to help in the situation, in the fight against diabetes. Some things that we are doing, and let me just mention a few, is, let me say first, diabetes is one of the top leading causes of death in Gates County. It has many complications. You hear people dying of strokes, heart attacks, so forth and so on. A lot of that can be contributed from diabetes. What has been done in Gates County to address this diabetes problem As I said, we've had a planning grant received from Overseas Hospital Foundation to develop a comprehensive diabetes plan for the residents of Gates County. It has been done. We voted on it last Wednesday. The plan, the draft was approved by the board completely, and the plan consists of incorporating a diabetes clinic at the Gateway Community Health Center in Gatesville. The clinic will address diabetes through specialized care, treatment, education, and other resources. As most of you know, education is a big problem of a lot of our problems. If people are not educated, they're not going to follow through. Diabetes support groups that would meet monthly on a regular scheduled day and time. There would be a day meeting and an evening meeting to benefit those who work during the day. We're going to do our best to strive to meet everyone's needs, whether you work during the daytime or work at night. Self-management programs will be taught to at least 3 times per year. This program is for 6 weeks, meeting 2.5 hours per week. It may include any other information about the plan, but it has been approved. It's a lot of things that's going to be going into it, and the different medical organizations within the county have bought into the process, the plan, and they're going to do everything they can to help us out. But the money that we put in for, again, for the plea, we're going to need every dollar that we ask for. And I apologize to you for not coming after we have received our budget money, but I'm coming because I know it's a need for every dollar to be spent in the county. But this dollars need to be spent in your citizens. They need it. We're the largest community in North Carolina having a big diabetes problem. We need your help. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Reverend Boone. All right, next item on our agenda will be our administrative reports. First report coming from our county manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I want to give you a report for the period of March 2013. The budget preparation schedule is ongoing. We have done our needs analysis. We have met in retreats and workshops with you all and with the department heads and the agency heads. The month of April will be devoted primarily to budget preparation. It will culminate in the presentation of a recommended budget during the regular meeting on May 1. And we look forward to presenting a budget per your instructions and per the things that you've heard in the budget retreat, as well as in the budget work sessions. This is, without going into a great amount of detail, a difficult fiscal year. They all are, but we are looking to our residents and the austere measures that they've had to overcome to develop a balanced budget without any significant changes in services. So we're looking forward to presenting that. You can see the different operational and administrative things that have been done. We've been working on some projects. The library has opened. The sewer system we're going to talk about later today. And we look forward to completing these projects and moving on to other projects. You will find in this packet the different departmental reports, a report on finances. Sandy Pittman is on vacation this week, and we wish her well on that, but there are some financials that have been approved administratively, some budget transfers that are within the power of the county manager to approve, and they have been done. You will see the financial report in the administrative packet. And then following that report, you will see the various departmental reports as well. Be happy to answer any questions at this time.
All right, any questions for the county manager? Okay. Did have one question. on the restructuring, are we going to be discussing that later today?
Yes, sir, in closed session. Yes, sir, it's a matter of personnel.
Okay. Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda would be finance report from our finance director. She's absent. We don't have anything for her.
We do have the finance report in your agenda. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can, and if I can, I'll be happy to take them down and get those answers back to you all at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, the next item would be our tax report from our tax assessor, collector, administrator.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You have a copy of the collector's report. Really nothing unusual to report with that. I will call your attention to the overall collection rate at this time. We're at 91.71, which last year in the same time frame we were at 91.51. So we're a little ahead of where we were last year. Hopefully we'll stay that way. Also, down towards the bottom of your sheet, you will notice a line item, the funds received through Zacchaeus Legal Services, which is a little over $20,000. These are funds that have actually come in this month, literally due to working with Zacchaeus Legal Services. So I think that is a relationship that's working for us. And also, we do still have some foreclosure work with Travis Ellis, and you'll also notice that we had close to $5,000 that came in from Mr. Ellis this month. Do y'all have any questions in reference to this report?
The Travis Ellis foreclosure, that line item, is that 1, 2?
The majority of it is one. The majority of it is. We still have some people with him that are on payment plans that a little is filtering in here and there, but I think around $3,000 of that was from one individual.
On the collected motor vehicle levies, I see this year we had 64.59 and last year was 65.68. Is there any administrative or some reason why it's
Well,
lower?
Part of that at this point is the time frame in which bills were sent out, because we are sending out motor vehicle bills monthly. In some cases, instead of sending a group out each month, we may end up with one at the first of the month, one right at the end of the month. So with that figure, we are constantly adding levy to that figure, so it fluctuates, and you will see that increase the closer we get to the end of the fiscal year.
Okay, all right.
Renee, how we coming on those numbers on the evaluations with the tax rates? On this, so I can calculate the,
Oh, okay. Actually, what I need to do is just send you a year-to-date report, because you will not have the figures on this actual report to bring you to that collection rate, because it's an overall figure where the majority of the figures that you have here, especially up at the top, your discoveries and that sort of thing, are strictly monthly figures.
I'm talking about the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, the valuation on those, so I can calculate the total receivable base with what's the outstanding base and calculate what our actual percent of recovery is. The thing that I was talking about, our cash flow thing on the modified accrual basis, we got a lot of money that keeps flowing through, and what it does, it populates the general fund, and we really don't have an accountability for it in the current budget year, is what it amounts to.
Well, no, we do have accountability for that in the prior tax collections and within the budget.
But that's right, but what it happens is it goes into the general fund, and it really, each year, it corrects itself. But your percents goes up, like, see, if this is true in 2000, if we only got $23,000 outstanding, we might have had a $6 million receivable base. Well, then you're at the 99% collection rate, and that's what I'm talking about.
What you're wanting to see will require us to go back in prior years to pull the actual
Valuation.
original levy and
I want to
whatnot
see
for those years.
That's right, I want to see the valuation rate for that year at the tax rate, what the 100% collectible
Right,
is.
okay.
And then if I look at that versus this, then I know what our collection rate is compared in the thing, and which all of that rolls over into the general fund.
We can get pretty close to that. The problem is that it involves more figures than just a couple of figures
understand.
because we have to look at releases, refunds, a lot of,
Right.
so that's going to take a little bit of time, especially to go back for 10 years,
Okay.
but we will work on that.
Because, and see, that's the thing, in the current year, we are at this 95, 96%, but when you look at it 3 years down the road, we get into the 99% rate, so there's 4% here that impacts in the general fund and
Right.
keeps flowing year by year by year, that's not being accounted for.
Okay. We'll work on getting those figures together. Any other questions?
All right.
Okay, one thing I would like for y'all to know is, we came in Monday and we had our first group of motor vehicles to process in the new system, and so we're working on those. We're very pleased with the way the system is working thus far. I'm sure as time goes on, there'll be some kinks to iron out and whatnot, but we are in the process of working on that, so that's a new venture for us this month.
So, where does the state forecast that the collectible, receivable percentage will be?
Well, they're telling us that basically from, prior records that they've had, usually somewhere in the 92% range is what actually renew every month. So it would be my assumption from that, we're going to be receiving 92% of what is billed for that month, which is certainly, and I'm talking about in a 45-day period of what time frame they have to renew, whereas now we are probably receiving that 92% over an 8-9 month period. So those funds will come in quicker for us than what they have been. And also, starting with July 1, with the new fiscal year, the amount that you have been seeing at the bottom of your collector's report, the motor vehicle interest that has been going to the state for the development of this system, that will no longer be going to the state. That 3% will stay with us. Also, the funds that are left in that particular fund with the state will be coming back to the counties. We have not been able to get any information as of yet as to how the formula will work with that, as to, how they will allocate that, or to when exactly those funds will come back to the county. And as we all know, by the time it's all said and done with, it may go in the general fund of the state. But anyway, right now, it is supposed to come back to the counties. So hopefully we'll have some news on that before too long, but I don't know that it'll be in time that it's something we can look at for this upcoming budget year.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Renee.
All right. Okay, just before we go into our next item, did have a question for the county manager. On the water plant, there's a document in there from our water department supervisor about a penalty that was assessed of $3,200. You familiar with that?
Yes, sir.
Why do we have this penalty? I didn't seem to see that when I read this. What was the infraction? Was that the Sprayfield issue or something?
No, sir. The Department of Labor Occupational Safety and Health inspection was done in October, on the 1st of October 2012, at the Gatesville Water Plant on Water Plant Road. And there were some violations that were found related to worker safety. And I don't have the details of all that. We could provide that to you. But there were some open panel boxes, I understand, and some various infractions that led to a cumulative total of $3,200 penalty being assessed on us.
I think the commissioners would like to see what the details of that. I would, and see what we're doing to make sure that those things don't happen again.
Mr. County Manager, has that check been cut for that penalty?
Yes, sir, it has.
Okay, so there was no, as far as you know, there was no time period where we were warned and then we had the opportunity to correct the situation, or?
We had 30 days to appeal it, and that appeal period had elapsed. When we received this notification on the 25th of February, we had already been past due on it, and so we went ahead and paid that to alleviate any sort of problems that we would have. But there was not an appeal made by the county in this regard. No, sir.
John, do you know the last time that we had an audit?
I do not, no, sir, but I can find out.
It would be interesting to compare that with the current one and see if there was any repeat items that appeared up, if we had some.
All right. Any other comments? If not, we will go into our next item, which is a public hearing. Our first public hearing will be a rezoning for Mr. Graham Twine from A1 to RMH1. Is there any discussion before we go into public hearing? If none, we'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so motion second, we'll go into public hearing. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we are now in public hearing for comments regarding Mr. Graham Twine's request to have his property rezoned from A1 to RMH1. Are there any public comments? All right, we will entertain a motion to come out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, Board, you have before you the request from the Planning Board to rezone a number of parcels for Mr. Twine, and what is the pleasure of the Board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we follow the recommendation of the planning board on this matter.
A motion to recommend to follow the recommendation of the Planning Board to approve the request of properties, I believe, 1 through 6, as identified with PIN numbers. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is second. Further discussion?
Did you say 6 pieces? I thought it was 3 pieces.
Is it 3? It's only 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 6, 16.
Yeah.
Three signs are posted. The last 3 are from Mr. Sproul.
Okay, the last 3. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. It is 3 parcels. Thank you for the correction. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. All right. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda would be a public hearing on rezoning for Mr. David Sproul from R1 current designation to RMH1. Are there any discussions before we go into public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into public hearing at this time.
Second.
All right, it's been motion second that we go into public hearing. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. All right, we are in public hearing for the comments on rezoning Mr. David Sproul's 3 properties from R1 to RMH1. Are there any comments? All right, being none, we will entertain a motion to come out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
That's motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. All right, we are out of public hearing, and we have before us the 3 properties requested to be rezoned from R1 to RMH1. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we follow the recommendation of the planning board on this matter.
All right, it's been moved that we follow the recommendation to approve these rezoning requests. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been motion second. Are there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank the parties, the planning board, and the parties that got us these maps on this matter well in advance so that we could make legitimate decisions. We have more information than we've ever had on any of this, and I really appreciate having that information before us.
All right. Any further discussion?
The only comment, and it is not, it bothers me a little bit when we actually go to large acreages of this without established. In other words, I guess if they're already occupied with that particular structure, infrastructure is one thing, but when they are outlined and they are not occupied, I do have some concerns with that. I mean, obviously people need to have the opportunity and the freedom to do with what they like with their property. However, I do think we do need to be in a controlled growth situation. However, that, as we all know, there are a lot of inconsistencies in our, or have been in our zoning, and they need to be corrected. But I do have some concerns when it is large blocks of land that are not permanently not occupied at the present time.
Mr. Chairman, I have also heard comments about the large block of land, the 25 acres. That was of concern from the people in the community.
Did we, Linda, I believe you were at the planning board meeting, is that correct? Did you hear any opposition to that or any comments on that you want to share with us? Or are you just coming from citizens' comments?
They were citizens' comments of people in the community. I do not think they were at the planning board.
Okay.
All right, we have discussed this. We have a motion, a second on the floor. We're ready for the question. All in favor of this rezoning request as recommended by the planning board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we thank you, and planning board will move forward with making this action valid as approved. Okay, the next item on our agenda will be, we don't have old business. We will go into our new business. The first item would be the consideration of bylaws, term and membership makeup of the Ad Hoc Animal Welfare Advisory Committee. In our last meeting, meeting before that, I believe we decided to put together a committee to address the situations that we have here in the county. And the county manager has prepared an organization of ad hoc committee advisory animal welfare resolution. And the resolution reads as follows. Whereas the condition of the animals and their welfare is of particular concern to the citizens of Gates County, and whereas the county is empowered by General Statute 153A-121 to define, regulate, prohibit, or abate acts, omissions, or conditions detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of its citizens and peace and welfare of the county, and whereas the Gates County Board of Commissioners deems that public input is necessary and fundamental in the process of good governance, now therefore be it resolved that an ad hoc animal welfare advisory committee is created pursuant to the following. The name of the committee, Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, hereafter committee. Tenure to commence on the first day of May 2013 and to expire on the 31st day of December 2013. Scope to generally identify animal welfare needs and recommend courses of action to improve the condition of animal welfare generally, but also to specifically address animal adoption and stewardship of sheltered animals, animal cruelty, including tethering, ordinance consistency, strays and dealings with future ordinance, language changes, Rules of the procedure. Basic rules of the procedure shall be promulgated by the committee using Robert's Rules of Order as a template. Membership. The committee shall be comprised of 9 members. 1 appointed by the Your District Commissioner, 1 appointed by the Hobbsville District Commissioner, 1 by the Gates District Commissioner, 1 appointed by the Gatesville District Commissioner, 1 by the Sunbury District Commissioner, 1 appointed by the Tri-County Animal Shelter, 1 appointed by the Health Department, 1 appointed by the Sheriff, and 1 appointed by the County Manager. Funding. No funding has been authorized to reimburse, support, or otherwise provide for funds or funding for this committee. In the County of Gates, adopted the 3rd day of April 2013 by the Gates County Board of Commissioners. All right, this is the resolution that we put in place. Are there any discussions on the resolution, concerns, or modifications that would be recommended?
Mr. Chairman, the intent of one person to be appointed by each commissioner, I want to state, is the intent is to search out that person within your district as well.
I would take that as to be yes. That is the intent.
Mr.
No.
Chairman, if I may, there is a advertisement to solicit for volunteers in the community, and we are in receipt of some of those. I'm not sure the correct number at this time, but it is, I would say 3 or more, 4, as I'm being told that it's 4. And we will have those names to you so that you can review them and make your appointment as needed and as you deem fit.
All right, let me clarify then what Jack said. I want to make sure now, are you telling me that with my responsibility that I have to select someone within my voting district? That I can't select anyone in the county?
It is not by voting district. It is a selection by you as commissioner from your
From
district.
Gates County?
Yes, sir, and you can
Okay.
select anyone at your pleasure and as you deem fit. Yes, sir.
All right,
Well-
very good.
What I was really stating was not a rule when I made my statement. I was just saying that that is our intent. I probably should have gone a little bit further. I mean, I'm going to look within my district first.
Yes.
But if there's no one that really wants to serve, then
Well,
go further.
and I think that, you know, to get someone from your district would give an equal representation over the county. I would suggest that if you knew someone in Hobbsville or someone in Sunbury, that you would give it to the Sunbury commissioner and see if that commissioner was interested in pursuing that before you designate that person and try to get someone in your district. And, you know, see if you could work it that way. Of course, you know, if the Sunbury commissioner did not want that person and you saw that that person would be vital, then I think it would, you know, you could do that. But I think we ought to try to look in our own districts to make sure that we get equal representation. And that's my thoughts on it.
I concur with that, but however, you know,
Not mandated.
it's, and this is true, but as was stated, you do want to have the most educated people that you have concerning this kind of situation, and seeking those out unless they identify themselves, you know, how do you actually know that? Well, it requires a little knowledge and being listening to what is happening in the community and those people that are participating and non-participating. So obviously that would be the first priority, but I don't want to be bound from that when to pick someone if I feel like there's a more qualified person somewhere in the county that I feel like can do a better job, maybe more passionate about that, or whatever. So I would like to have that flexibility, as John had mentioned in the original statement.
All right. Okay, we're hold on just a second. We're in discussion here.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I do think it's important to have geographical disbursement on these committees instead of having a cluster in one area of the county, because the issue is county-wide, and I think people would be more attuned or would like to have their voice heard, and it might be easier for them to talk to someone in their community about it. Certainly, we are looking for qualified people. I do not disagree with that.
Okay. All right, now, certainly we can modify the resolution where we talk about the committee shall be comprised of 9 members. County Manager, do we see a need to state that each commissioner will appoint from their district, or unless agreed to by the other commissioners, or is that something we want to modify? How does the board feel about that? And there again, I think it's important that we get, as Commissioner Hoppers also said, that we get equal representation, but we really don't want to stifle the fact that if there's someone out there, another commissioner wants to appoint, that they can have that leverage, but I think they should come through their own district commissioner first. But as it's written now, it really doesn't specify how we'll do that. It's just basically, whatever we decide to do. I think a little clarification might be needed on how we're going to do that. Do you have any suggestions how that might be worded that we could possibly come to some agreement on today?
I would think, Mr. Chairman, that if we, we can just state it here, or if we feel like it needs to be in this resolution, we could simply state that if a commissioner wishes to go outside his district, he can extend the courtesy of making a contact with his fellow commissioner before proceeding.
If a commissioner wished to
Select a committee member outside of his district, his or her district, that may extend a courtesy call to a fellow commissioner. It'll be easily resolved. It won't be an issue, just be a matter of communication.
But if it does become an issue, then what?
Fight it out.
Well, I think that there should be some agreement there. You'll give a courtesy call and request concurrence.
Right.
If the commissioner says, well, I've got one, I really don't feel that person is as good as the one that I have. We're going to have 2 representatives from this area. I think there ought to be some agreement. We should be able to work together.
Let me give an example here. If we start talking about voting precincts, in my particular place and where I'm thinking of right now, just so happens on US 158 is a dividing line. One lives on the left-hand side of the street, one lives on the right-hand side of the street. I don't want to be banned from that situation, so I think that's good to take and converse before there. But however, I think the way John described it at the very beginning is the proper way. Obviously, we all want to do that, but it becomes my appointment. With concurrence.
We need to keep in mind, too, that the committee is not representing, they're selected from a district, but they're representing every county
That's right.
citizen.
Well, that's the way I see it. That's what you want. So you want to have competent, qualified people to me, that's number 1 priority. Second would be my precinct, obviously, so that we do have a representation. Then, I think what Jack just said, we got to remember we want citizens that are going to represent all of the people of Gates County. So, I like it the way it's written right now with the clarification that John had. I don't see any real problem personally.
All right, John, what was your clarification again?
that it is up to the will of each commissioner to make the appointment as they deem fit and is best for their district and for the county as a whole. I will tell you that we need those appointees' names and telephone numbers to Diane so that we can make those contacts and set up the first meeting, and we need that as soon as you all have it.
Well, I think, John, we want to look at the list of the people that
Oh,
that
yes.
did that first, and
Yes,
then
sir.
we, you know, obviously they have top priority
Yes,
of
sir.
what you would do, and then if you don't see that person that fits that need, then you might proceed.
You're absolutely right. Yes, sir.
Okay. We have the resolution in front of us on the membership. County manager has provided a clarification, and it should read as thus: the committee shall be comprised of 9 members, semicolon. Commissioners will, members will be selected based on the will of each commissioner for their district. Okay. All right. We have resolution before us. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the resolution as presented
Second.
Modified.
and modified and presented.
Okay. All right.
Second.
All right. It's been motioned and second that we accept the resolution as modified and presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, we'll make those changes we can. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask the county manager to give us a deadline for getting those names to it. I'm thinking the 17th. Is that too far away?
Commissioner Hora corrected me, and he
He's
is
gonna give
correct in
us
that
first.
we need to get the applications to you all to review, those 4 that we said we had, and we do need them back in a timely fashion. Did you say the 17th?
17th.
That would be a very good time, because we can get those applications scanned to you and sent to you very quickly.
All right, the item 7 talks about information regarding membership makeup and appointments to boards and commissions. This is a list of all the boards that the commissioners support and are members of. Recently, East Carolina Behavioral Health requested that the county provide representatives. I believe we probably had how many? 3 or 4? Okay. Kenny, you've served on that board in the past.
I serve on it
Currently.
right
Yes,
now.
and currently.
And David Brown also,
David serves on there?
yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Well-
unless his term is up, I really don't know the
Okay.
date that it stays.
All right, the situation that we have currently, I don't know if Commissioner Jernigan has talked with Diane or John, but there has been a request that the county submit names to be appointed, and they had to have special type of backgrounds like financial, health, and that sort of thing. And so, Diane, we asked you to make some contacts. Have you made?
I have made it to the health department, and I have not got a response back from them as of yet.
Okay. Did we submit the names to the CBH yet?
I have not, because I have not had a confirmation from the health department. They were going to contact their supervisor to make sure it was okay, got their permission to serve,
Okay.
and they have not done that.
On the third item here, it does need to have Commissioner Jernigan's name on there too, because we need those votes.
On solid waste.
Yes. We have,
Which one is that?
Albemarle Solid,
we
Regional
have
Solid Waste.
2 commissioners can be on that, as well as the county manager. All of them have voting authority.
On the second page, the PCG Landfill Commission,
Uh-huh.
is that amended, is that Jernigan Owens or is that Jernigan Hora?
That's me,
Okay.
Jernigan Hall.
That should be Hora on the second page.
Yes.
Are those two committees the very same?
No,
The way it's listed?
one's 3 counties, one's 7 or 8 counties.
Okay. I know I hadn't been to any of those,
Yeah.
so, but
Well, this is right, but he should be on both of them.
Okay.
really.
So add Jernigan to the third line.
Right, and then replace your name with my name on the last one there.
All right, I do remind the board that at the end of this year, I will have to come off the Albemarle Commission board, because I've served 2 terms. And so we're going to need to be thinking about who might want to serve on that. That's a very good board to be on in regards to knowing the economic growth possibilities for the counties through that consortium. So it's something we do want to keep our hands on and stay involved in that.
All of these, looking at the headline of the paper, it says requiring commissioner participation. So every one of those are required commissioner.
That's right.
All right, no avenue for county manager to replace somebody.
Right, citizens or whatever.
Okay. All right.
down there on where it says East Carolina Behavioral Commission, Mr. Roy Wilson is retired, and that name should be Lisa Wainwright, I think that's the way it.
It's easy for you to say.
Huh?
That's easy for you to say.
That is not easy for me to say.
Okay.
And with the Northeast Consortium, that should be Natalie Raintree,
Which one is that?
where Wendy is at the top of the
Okay,
page.
when did you? That was Natalie.
Do we need to put David Brown on, we need to research David Brown.
I think, Mr. Chairman, I think David was supposed to come off after 1 year. Now, I'm sure it's been 1 year.
Okay. All right.
We need to research his term, the term of David Brown?
Yeah, we need to take a look at it.
Okay. An additional item on that as well, Mr. Chairman.
Is that the mental health?
No, there are some citizen appointed boards, the RC&D, the Rural Planning Organization, some of which the planner was a part of. Next month, we are planning to bring before you the month of May to talk about RC&D and the RPO and get those appointments square for you too. You'll see a sheet just like this. It won't be commissioner participants, it'll be citizen participants of residents that are on these different boards. But I wanted to let y'all know that we're trying to get this list put together and get it right for you.
I would also recommend that we look at all of the boards that the commissioners are responsible, COA, so forth and so on. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask you something about that comment on the Albemarle Commission here. So, must you be a sitting commissioner to sit on that board?
You must be a sitting commissioner, right?
So, well, in that particular case, then, well, from the standpoint of December, that looks to me like that points to London. She's the only one that's guaranteed to be on here 3 more years.
Well, what happens is the fact that.
If she so desires.
Right, but I just want to clarify, when I was appointed, actually I served 5 years. I took J.S. Pierce's place, Commissioner Pierce. He had served 1 year or 2 years, and he did not run again, and so there was a year left. So I came in and finished his year, and then I was able to serve my term as well. So, you know, if a commissioner is appointed and doesn't finish out, then another commissioner would be appointed to finish that term. That's the way it's set
All
up.
right, that's fine. I just want to make sure that how this is going to work.
But I think Commissioner Hopper would make a great candidate for it.
And it's on the same night as the old meeting that I attend.
I believe they
that
kind
sounds
of
good.
coordinate them the same night. So
I mean, 3 times a year it is, because we meet quarterly and you meet monthly.
that's right.
And I know a lot of those on the consortium are also on the Albemarle Commission.
That's
Not that I'm
right.
trying to get a job, but
Right.
anyway.
That sounds like a good plan to me, Linda.
Yes, indeed. All right. Okay. The next item would be the consideration of a contract for audit services. I just had one question, and I don't know if county manager can answer this, being the finance director's not here. What was the cost last year for this contract, or the last time we redid it?
I would need to consult the finance
I
department.
think it's very close to what this number is. If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember. And the only thing about this that and it's not that I'm not happy, I think they've done a pretty good job. But obviously this is something I've been involved in all my life. When I was running at IP, I didn't like auditors better than anybody else did. But however, they are extremely helpful to examining your processes and finding out what you're doing. And I always found that, and we rotated auditors pretty frequently, especially on the internal control side. And it was always good because you had different eyes looking at that. You got different best management practices. And because we're habit-forming creatures. We come in and we do the same thing routinely over and over again. And you have to recognize that an auditor really is, you don't particularly like it, but he is there to help you and help you identify things. So it's very beneficial to change auditors. And they've been here 3 years, and I don't have any problem with doing them again, but I do think next year or this year we need to be planning to make that transition to a new audit group and do that. It is just good business practices to do that. And not that they don't, because they do. The reports that they generate and send out there are very good. Matter of fact, they're a lot better than the ones we had previously. And so I'm very happy with that. But however, that business practice does weigh a whole lot more light to me of trying to find out and improve our processes and growing our people and sharing ideas.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Any more comments? If not, we'll call for the motion to accept the contract.
This is a one-year contract, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. I make a motion that we accept this contract from Martin Steins for audit for the tax year 2012, 13,
13, 14.
13, 14.
All right, I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to come in behind Johnny and say that we need to look at somebody else maybe for next year, so we can get this, different opinions.
All right, we have a motion and second on the floor. All in favor of adopting the contract, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right. Okay, the next item on our agenda would be consideration of a budget amendment for electronic recycling. And did you want to
Sure.
comment on that?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is budget amendment number 43. It is for an electronics recycling grant. We act as the fiscal agent. The monies are passed through to the PCG landfill. The amount is $700 of new revenue. It needs to be allocated, and that's what this budget amendment does, is allocate this additional revenue in the amount of $700.
All right. We have budget amendment number 43 before us. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion that we accept budget amendment 43 as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been motion and second. The budget amendment be accepted. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, next item would be budget amendment for the sheriff's office. And county manager, would you, John,
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is budget amendment number 44. It is also to appropriate additional revenues received and to appropriate those to the Sheriff's Department. The Cora Peak Ruritan Club donated $100 to the Sheriff's Department, and that is new revenue received, and it is being appropriated for K-9 unit expenses and increasing that line item. And that's budget amendment number 44.
all right.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept this budget amendment as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been motion and second. The budget amendment be accepted as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay.
Just want to make a comment, and I've talked to John about this, and we've had a discussion about this, and this is about budget amendments, and as you well know, my position that I stated some time ago about budget amendments, and I think it's something that we really do need to take a look at. Budget amendments really, to me, should be used, as I've told you guys before, only in certain circumstances, and that's when it's like departmental type changes and whatever. It's, I like variances. Variances allow you to go back and look at your history without doing a whole lot of accounting manipulation to find out what adjustments were made, where you take the beginning balance and you go look, see the adjustments to see the ending balance. When you get time to budget and everything, it gives you a whole lot better history when you see those overs and unders by each particular line item. So we really need to rethink that process is what we're doing here. You know, this is 44 things that you're saying that, hey, I did wrong. That's what you're saying. There's 44 things that I did wrong. Well, and that's true. And even if you don't make them, they're still wrong. But this is telling you, hey, I made them wrong. I didn't do something right. And I didn't plan right, so I adjust my processes on the next cycle. You cut down on these, and what that does, that history allows you to do that. Well, you can't do that now without sitting down with a spreadsheet and posting these all to the individual columns to find out what's going on. You just can't do it, because when you go look at the far column, they're going to be right on the money or very close. So that's something that this budget season that we need to pay attention to. This is another best management practice type thing that we need to be getting into, in my opinion. And I had a little bit of discussion with John, and I'd like for you to talk to him about this too, because this is it's an accounting mechanism, and I know why we're doing it, and that's why I've been supportive of it to a certain extent. However, it's something that I feel that needs to change, that can make our process better, and I know it will make it better at budget time. So it's just something I throw out there.
All right. Any other comments? I will say that we've talked about this a little bit, and while I agree with some of the analysis that you've come up with, John, I do, in some situations, budget amendments are needed, especially when you got new income, as this one was.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be appropriated.
Right.
And I've always been kind of fond of the fact that it lets us know when changes are being made. Because if you don't have these kind of records, certainly commissioners are not aware of monies being shifted and so forth. So, but
Yeah.
there again, and I understand that, certainly improvements can be made in this area.
Yeah, yeah, but those increased revenue, increased expenditures, those are okay. It's when you're doing manipulation between accounts, expenditure accounts, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, those become necessary. I mean, you got to recognize those things.
Right. All right. Our next item is citizens' comments. Mr. Thomas Hill.
Dealing with the committee, dealing with the animal control, I'm concerned with the commissioners having the practice of picking one from their district. We did not do this as a committee when it came to the historical building right across the street. Basically, all the names that was given was pretty much approved. So it worries me that we would handpick those individuals to represent on this particular board. My second concern is, Mr. Jordan, with you specifically, you have a district that is divided within two. So you would have to have a decision that's made. Would you come from Sunbury or would you get one from Core Peak? So that would be another concern that I have. My third concern with this is if the members are already divided up with those that have expertise, then you limit the citizens' ability to speak on this said committee. So it just concerns me with these three practices, these three concerns rather, that I feel that the citizens are being taken out of the issue and those people that's within the bureaucracy has been put in. I would ask that the commissioners tread cautiously on this issue.
All right, I think what we have is we have nine members, and you have 5 commissioners that will appoint someone from their district, but you also have 4 others, one from the Tri-County Animal Shelter, which is certainly the type of representative we would want, one appointed by the Health Department, one appointed by the Sheriff, and one appointed by the County Manager. And certainly, this is a representative group. It appears to be, the way that the County Manager has looked at it, and we feel that it's going to be good for putting this committee together. But certainly, we appreciate your comment, and we thank you.
May I ask one last question, sir? The names that was given, I understand that there's 4 names that was presented, is that correct? Mine being included in that 4.
If you responded to the newspaper advertisement.
I just gave it this morning.
Okay.
With that said, would those 4 have the highest consideration? That would be my last question.
Well, the commissioners they will be presented first, right, exactly. And they would look at them, and if they thought someone else was more qualified or better suited to serve, then they would, go to that person. But they don't have to, but certainly that would give first priority, I'm sure.
Understood, understood.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like a little bit of clarification there, though, okay? I can tell you, I have been contacted. I mean, Thomas, you're not from my district, but I have been contacted by more than one person, and neither one have submitted an application. The application there, that being said, the application deadline is not there. So it is not first come, first served.
I understand.
It's application deadline, all applications considered. And I'm speaking because I'm going to have that situation for my district.
I understand.
I just want to be clear about that.
Yes, sir. No, I understand that. I just want to make sure that there is fair representation.
They'd be thinking the first one to the clerk's desk is the one selected.
No, I completely understand. I just want the commissioners to realize that we as the people would like to have fair representation on this issue. Thank you.
And certainly, in my district, Sunbury, Core Peak, you know, we would look at who has applied, and the one that would be most profitable or better for this committee, certainly that would be the one that would be selected.
Understood. I'll wait for y'all's decision. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that completes our citizens' comments. Commissioners, we usually start with Commissioner Hopper, but we'll start with Commissioner Oren today.
Thank you, sir. Okay, well, anyway, it's good to be here today. I do want to have something to say about the animal cruelty and animal control issue. As Commissioner Jordan stated a few minutes earlier, we have heard the people, and I certainly appreciate their passion in the matter. Currently, right now, I'm not a dog owner. It's because we lost our little Jack Russell about a year and a half ago, and we are afraid to get another one right now. Afraid we might lose that one too. But we are not just talking about it when we're here, and we're not just hearing about it when we're here. We're hearing about it from the citizens during the other days, and we are doing some things, doing some looking into issues and trying to learn as much ahead of the committee as we can from other areas who have had trouble. And this issue is not Gates County's issue. This issue is the nation's issue. So, and I say that just to say that we're not the only community that is suffering from this abuse, and there are a lot of other abuses out there that we have not cornered the market on either. So anyway, this is a very sensitive matter, but we're going to do our best to represent the county well in the matter, and I thank everybody for the comments today.
All right. John.
I'm hiding. Appreciate everyone being here this morning. It looks to me like we're on record pace, and I'm not going to hold that up a whole lot, but
I'll hold you to it, buddy.
yeah. But anyhow, appreciate the comments been made this morning from the animal people, as well as what Chuck had to say, and a lot of things that I'm concerned about, and especially on the sensitivity of the animal issue that is. We all had to recognize that man's existence today, this country, domesticated animals played an extremely big part in that. From the cowboys to the turkeys to all the different things there are that across there. So we're all sensitive to that, and I hope we can do that. There are a lot of abuse in your papers. You read that, you see it, and we need to be sensitive to that. I'm not a real pet type person, but I do have passion for those. My children love animals, and I do too. I guess you have to think what they can do for you and what the companionship and the relationship that they bring to some people. That is the only relationship that they have. And that's sad to a certain extent, but it's true. On the broader issues, we got a lot of things going on in Gates County that are going to impact our citizens that are coming about with, with what's happening at the Commerce Park, to the courthouse, and just really in our state. A lot of things going on in Raleigh, a lot. Some good, some bad, but however, we play the cards that we're dealt with. And so you put them on the table to win, and you want to have that desire to win. And winning's not everything, but as Catfish Hunter said, having a desire to win it is everything. You want motivated people carrying the banner for you. And I hope each and every citizen will have that motivation to do that, to try to make Gates County the best that it can possibly be. We're out here competing with other counties for all kinds of things. They're our friends, they're our neighbors. It's just like having a brother and sister, but it's competition. Competition makes you better. It makes you grow. Knowledge is the power. Having knowledge and seeking knowledge to take and learn and understand things is the most powerful weapon that you have to combat things that are happening in this country. Injustices, as we've been talking about this morning, and other things, but from a financial standpoint or economically, it is the most powerful thing that you can do. And we need to encourage our young people and try to get them motivated to that end, because it is the future, and it's you can't be overbearing with it, but you really do have to try to guide your young people to take and make them become a positive influence on society. And so that's our responsibility as adults, and try to be mentors to our young people. So appreciate everybody being here today, and Easter was a good time. Next holiday is coming up, Memorial Day. So think about those memories and the people that were before us. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay.
You know, it's always hard when you come after people that like to talk.
I'm still on record pace.
But I'm not saying anything, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say anything wrong against anybody and what they believe in and what they say. But like it is hard when you're the third and the fourth or the fifth one just to speak up here. But I would like to say, and this comes from my heart, I enjoy seeing the people that come. I enjoy talking to you, and I want everybody here to have a safe trip home. Remember, anytime you're traveling through the construction site out there, slow down. They've had several accidents out there. Luckily, nobody's been hurt really, really bad, but there's always that possibility. But I do appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Well, being the fourth in the row, it's hard to have anything new to say, but I do appreciate each of you coming today. It's always nice to see our citizens being involved. And, you know, talk to us when you see us on the street or wherever you see us. Certainly, I think all the commissioners are concerned about the animal issue. Living in a rural area, animals have played a vital role in our community from the colonial times up to the present. None of us want to see them abused. And so hopefully we're moving in the right direction to look at our policies and procedures so that we can correct any mistreatment that has been going on. Also, I would encourage any of you to go to the new library. It is open. Mrs. Famila, I think, is very excited about her new building. I think on Monday she had 100 people there. I don't know what the rate has been the last few days, but I know from some little ones in my family, they were very excited about going to the library. So I hope you will check it out.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Hoffler, all the commissioners. I, too, kind of ditto everything that's been said. Glad to see everyone. Hope you had a happy holiday. And, you know, we, as far as animal control, we don't have a pet right now. We did have a little dog named Misty, but she was a house dog. And but I always got the job of carrying her out and walking her. So, you know, when Misty passed on, we haven't replaced her. But, you know, we do have a love for animals. There is some room for improvement, and certainly we hope that this process will make that happen. I do want to make everyone here aware, and those who might be observing later through our video, that the North Carolina Department of Insurance sent out a notice to the commissioners to make our citizens aware that a rate increase of 17.7% was requested by the insurance companies in regards to your home insurance and so forth. Well, our representative, Mr. Wayne Goodman, Commissioner of Insurance, he battled as hard as he could, but he said that they did not get to 17.7, but there will be a 7% increase in our insurance rates for this coming year. Other counties, such as our coastal counties and many of our lower counties, they ended up with a higher rate of 19.8%. So just want to make you aware of that we may have to reach a little bit deeper this time on our insurance policies for coverage. Also, I do thank the citizens for your involvement and willingness to participate on the various boards that we have, because we need that participation. Certainly, commissioners can't resolve all of these issues by themselves. Just not enough time in the day. So we thank you for coming and being here. I do want to ask our director, my term on the DSS board is also expiring. Is that going to be addressed in another meeting? All right, well, we'll use my commissioner comment time to speak on that, if you will. All right.
County Manager, Commissioners, and citizens. I wanted to bring to your attention that in May, we will be presenting to the board that the commissioner-appointed position, one of the two for the Social Services Board's term will be expiring. Currently, Commissioner Jordan serves in that position. That term consisted of from July 1st, 2010 to June 31st of this year. So I wanted to bring that to your attention currently to let you know what the makeup of the board. There's 2 appointees from the Board of Commissioners, 2 appointees from the North Carolina Social Services Commission, and of those, and the 5th member is appointed by the vote of the other 4 members. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. That will be brought up in the May Commissioners meeting. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you at this time.
I just would like to say that the way that board is set up, we've set it up whereas you have one commissioner serving, and the other commissioner is appointed at the pleasure of the board. It does not have to be a commissioner. I was the appointee. John, at the time he was originally appointed, was not a commissioner at that time. So, you know, I'm willing to serve again, but if that's the pleasure of the board. But certainly, it is open to whatever the board wants to do. Like I said, it is a commissioner position, but we have one on there, so we'd have to kind of think about what we want to do on that. But we'll receive that in May.
Correct, and there will be a letter in your packet made also stating Commissioner Jordan's willingness to be reappointed at the pleasure of the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, there are no other comments. We will entertain a motion to go into closed session in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143-318, 11A3, 11A4, and 11A5, and A6.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We'll enter closed session. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, we thank you so much. Out of closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been motion seconded. We'll come out of closed session. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, all opposed, nay. Okay. All right, we're in open session, and we would entertain a motion to authorize Commissioner Owens and our county attorney to accomplish the instructions that was provided in closed session.
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second? I second. All right. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, 1 nay and 4.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
in addition to that, I'd like to make a motion, based on our discussion, to authorize our county manager to contact the other party that we discussed to deliberate on possible activity that was discussed
Mr.
In
Chairman,
closed session.
in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I will recuse myself from that vote.
All right, we have
Second.
a motion, a second. Commissioner Hoare has been requested to be recused. What? Yes, right. We will have to redo the motion. We would need another motion to recuse Commissioner Hoare from voting on the issue that was just discussed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to let Mr. Horace being recused from this vote.
Second.
All right, motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, we will need to restate the motion to accomplish what was discussed in closed session for the county manager.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I'll rescind my prior motion, and I'll make a new motion that the four commissioners that will be voting in this motion, that we move to instruct our county manager to speak with the said party that we discussed in closed session based on the instructions that we gave him in closed session.
All right. Have a motion.
Second.
It's been motioned second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, 4 and 1 recused. All right,
Have a good
that
trip, Ken.
concludes our open session. Now we will entertain a motion to go back into closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go back into closed session.
Second.
All right. Motion second, we go back in closed session. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we thank you. Thank you, Mike, for being so patient. We're in closed session. You can come to the table now.